You know the drill. Please click subscribe, like, comment and share with your friends and enemies. Help me raise awareness of my channel. Thanks. Hello everybody. During this period of lockdown, whilst I'm stuck in Western Australia, I've been fortunate enough to find somewhere to stay on a farm in the wilderness. So whilst I can't do much cycling or travelling through Australia, I thought I'd do a few videos and share my equipment lists and my setup and talk a little bit about the trike and what I've been doing. So in this first of videos, I'll show you how I sleep at night when I'm using my hammock. At the moment, I'm carrying a hammock and a tent. I was originally just, when I was in Southeast Asia for a year and a half, just carrying the hammock. But because in crossing Australia I have to go through the Nullarbor Desert, I was a little bit worried about finding places to hang the hammock. So I bought a small one-man tent in Bali in Indonesia, and I'll show you that later on. Anyway, on now to the hammock itself. As you can see in the background here, I'll show you a little bit closer in a minute. I've got a tarpaulin which is 3 meters by 2.8 meters, made by Mad Fox in Vietnam. It's quite cheap to buy. I can't remember the actual price, but I'll try and remember and put it into the description below. And the hammock that I'm using is actually made by a young chap in Thailand. He lives just near Chiang Mai, and it was just a coincidence. I was on one of the hammock camping Facebook groups and happened to see him and noticed that he was from Thailand, and I said, "Oh, where did you buy your hammock from?" Because the one I've got, which was the Mad Fox one originally, was too small for me because it was made for Vietnamese people, people with slightly shorter stature. And he said he made them, and I said, would he be able to make me one and for my size? And he said, yep, no problems. And it just so happened that he lived maybe one day's ride away from Chiang Mai, so I went and saw him and checked out his produce and bought it, and it's been excellent ever since. So I'll just take you for a little bit of a walk around. At the moment I've got it set up in a sort of classic mode. The tarpaulin is set up just as an A-frame with the hammock underneath. I've also tied out the hammock a little bit. These here are elastic bungees, so even when I'm in the hammock, it just keeps the edges away from me. You'll notice that it's got an attached mosquito net. This can be unzipped all the way around, and it comes off, and you can just in the daytime, if you just want to sit in there without the fly screen on, then you can do. And I've used it on the beach in Vietnam, actually, in that mode. So I'll just take you a walk around again, all sides. So my tarpaulin is actually set up on a ridge line, underneath the ridge line. This is the ridge line here, and obviously the tarpaulin is set onto it, and it's attached just by using a Prusik knot, which slides along and locks itself as and when. I'll go through these knots a bit later on actually, but when I take it apart, it locks itself so it doesn't pull and it stays rigid. The actual hammock itself is attached just by 2 very small carabiners to these straps, which have multiple loops all the way through, so you can set the distance and the height from the ground depending on how far apart your trees are. And all I'm using here is so if I wanted to move these very easily, I'm just using a stick to stop it. Okay, so there you go. I'll now set it up and you can see me getting in. There we go. So as I say, with a hammock you don't just lie flat along the edge of it, because you'd be like a banana. This hammock is especially designed for my height, as in I'm 5'11", and it means that I can sleep sideways on, and that gives me a really nice flat lie, nice comfortable lie. And even in fact, I sometimes I even roll up into a ball and just lie there. It's really comfortable. And that's how easy it is to get in and sleep. You can, if need be, and you're sitting around in the daytime, you can sit here, excuse me, sit here, do my cooking under shelter. As I mentioned, this fly net zips off all the way out the way, stows into a bag at the top end. And if I'm at the beach or by a lakeside and I just want to sit and rest, watch the world go by, yeah, job's a good one. There you go, hammock. What I'll do now is I'll set it up in a couple of the tarp in a couple of different configurations, so you can see what I would do when it's maybe raining really heavily or high winds. So as you can see now, I've set up the tarp so it's got one closed end, and all I've done is I've crossed over the guy lines there and added an extra guy line on each side to this one here, and that just pulls it out, gives a little bit of a triangular section, and that would stop all the wind and rain coming in from that side. Obviously, if I needed to, if it was really bad, I could do the same to this side as well. I'll show you inside now, totally enclosed, give me a lot more protection from any wind coming in from that side. So I'm just going to take you through some of the knots I use, so I don't have to use carabiners or anything like that when I'm attaching stuff, and it's also very easy and quick to set up. Basically, I take a loop here and pull down on this bit, and that creates a loop there, which is then free running, and it'll go bigger and smaller, like so. I can then attach that down onto the tent peg, and it's all nice and tight. And I can adjust the tightness just by slipping it up and down on here. And the great thing is, once I take it off, all I need to do then is pull this here. There you go, knot gone. So this is how I attach the hammock to a tree itself, using tree straps to make sure that the tree doesn't get damaged, and I use a stick here just to make sure that I can just very easily quick release, as that there. And then if I need to move the hammock higher up the tree, I can do. Just take a little bite through there, put the stick through, and I'm back in business again. That means that I don't have to release the hammock itself from the straps and drop it down onto the floor. So today I'm going to show you how I make my ridge line for the hammock tarp. As you can see here, this is my ridge line. It's just a nice long piece of string, and at one end, I'll show you, I've tied a large knot. So imagine this is our tree. When I'm coming up to set up my ridge line, I take the string around the tree, and then I create a slip knot and just create a loop through there like that. I then place the knot, the big knot there, through it and pull on with tension, and as you can see now the knot's not going to go through, and I can pull on that quite hard, and it's not going to slip. And then I can go to the other end and tie that off as well. To take it apart, it's just very easy. Unslip the knot. That goes. So I'm left with the slip knot. There you go. So the knot that I've just showed you is tied to the other end of the tree, at the other end of the ridge line, and now I need to tie this end so I can tension it and apply and attach the tarp to it. What I'm going to use is a trucker's hitch. So you take the line around the tree, and as before, you create the slip knot. And if you want to know how to create a slip knot, just look online. Okay, so there's the slip knot. I then take the end of my line through the slip knot. And excuse me because this is very long. And now I can pull this back and it creates tension. And that's tight enough now for my tarp to hang from. And to secure this trucker's hitch, I just pinch here, take a bite through and pull. That is now totally safe. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay? And to undo it, it's very, very simple. Just pull this through. That comes through. Left with a slip knot. There you go. So that's how I set up my ridge line without any carabiners or sticks or twigs or anything like that. So how do I attach my tarpaulin to my ridge line? Well, I've got two Prusik knots attached to my ridge line, as you can see here, and I'll show you how to make those in a little while. And on the end of my tarps in the middle, I have a loop of rope with a knot at the end. You can see there. Loop, knot. So I just feed the knot through the Prusik loop and then back through itself, put some tension on, and then the knot stops it from falling back through. And the great thing about a Prusik knot is, this one here, is that when there's no tension on the line, you can slide it backwards and forwards. But as soon as there's tension on the line, it grips the ridge line and it won't move at all. Totally grips the rope. And then again, no tension, done. So all I do then, once that one's fitted there, I go to the other end of my ridge line, attach the other loop to the Prusik knot and tension it up. And that means I've got a totally movable tarp which I can move left and right and tighten up as needed, or even slacken if needed. To take it apart, very, very simple. Just take the knot through the two pieces of string. It's still attached a little bit by the Prusik knot, out of the way, and done. So here you can see the Prusik knot. Slides along nice and easily, but as soon as you put tension on it, grips the rope and stops it. No tension, moves along. So how do you make it? Well, it's very simple. You start off with a cow hitch, which would normally be take one of the ends back through itself, and there's your cow hitch. There. In fact, let's do it the other way, so you haven't got the knot in the way. So that's the normal cow hitch, as you can see. Okay, with a Prusik knot, because obviously that just moves around, with a Prusik knot, all you do is take it through another 2 or 3 times. So let's show you. There you go. So there's once around, twice around, 3 times around, and then just let it tighten itself up, keep it nice and dressed. So you can see you have 6 loops now. Making a mess of this. There you go. So as you can see there now, you've got your three loops. And again, slides nice and easy. When under tension, grips the rope and doesn't allow itself to slide. And that is the Prusik knot.